welcome to our new Racing Records podcast. My name's Ryan Sharkey and I'm joined by my co-hosts Dean Hegarty and Martin Julyan. We'll be discussing this weekend's Dublin Racing Festival and going through some of the bigger races on show. But first we're going to introduce ourselves. Any volunteers, lads?
No problem, I'll go first. Hi guys, my name's Dean Hegarty and I'm part of the Facebook team for Racing Records. Hopefully we can bring you some winners for the Dublin Racing Festival.
Hi, I'm Martin Julyan. I'm in England rather than in Ireland, like the other two guys here. So I'll bring a slightly different perspective to things. Hopefully we'll find those winners and we'll have a good time as well.
My name's Ryan Sharkey. I've wrote for a few sites, but now I'm quite settled contributing and running Racing Records. I'm in charge of the Dundalk previews on this podcast and the Twitter page. So we'll start with the Dublin Chase. The Dublin Chase sees an 8-runner field, just over 2 miles. Some good names on show here, lads.
Definitely. Some very, very good names on show.
And which one would you go for here?
Well, I've kind of singled out Mun here. It's a very open race, but like Mun's a classy sort. Like the way he won last year at Aintree, and was very unlucky at Punchestown doing the show. And I think he had a good run at Punchestown on the 8th of December. Hegarty gave him a good race that day. So it's no surprise we didn't see him over Christmas. And I think on the basis of last year's form, I think Mun probably should be hard to beat in this race, maybe.
And Min is 3-1 for the Queen Mother at Cheltenham. What do you think about that?
That it's who he comes up against at Cheltenham then, and the Queen Mother, that's the one, isn't it? Who's favourite for that there at the minute? Is it Defi Desoy?
Yep, 2-1. Altior's there too.
Altior will be on it, and Mun and Altior has had a good duel in the past before, so you would have to think that, you know, if he puts up half as good a show as he did last season at Aintree or even at Punchestown when Defi Desoy beat him, he probably should be hard to beat come the weekend.
I think Plutard by Henry Bromhead trains him and Rachel Blackmore's riding him. He won well over this distance last time here where he bet Chacon Poursoy and Ordinary World. They're both running here and Chacon Poursoy is the favourite. He's 7-4 favourite, which I don't think he should be. He's more than likely going to go to the Ryanair Chase rather than the Queen Mother. He's 3-1 here at Dublin, and I'll be putting my money on him for definite.
Yeah, Ryan. I think the only thing about the Chacun Poursoir and the Plutard race in December, I think you could make the case that Chacun Poursoir, like a lot of the Mullins horses, were not really firing in December. If you look at Mullins in January, I think he's had his second best month, January month, since 2011 or something. So obviously something's turned around. I kind of like Ordinary World each way. 66-1 for a place. A lot of the top runners are obviously quite short in price. Ordinary World will probably be ridden to get that place. And I'll be looking for that one to come through at the end and pick up a little bit of each way for me.
It's definitely an interesting shot there, Martin. But do you think Chacun Poursoy is justified favourite here, or do you think someone else should be favourite?
I think he should be because I think he'll probably come on for the race in December. The jockey was very bullish and said if they'd run the next day, he would have beaten Plutard. Now, of course, Plutard connections would probably disagree with that, but I think the Mullins camp are quite bullish, and I think that's probably led the market somewhat. And as you said, I don't think Plutard is headed to the Champion Chase anyway. So I don't know. It'll be a fantastic spectacle either way, I think.
It definitely will. Chacon Poursoy, he bet Defi Desoy before as well. I suppose you can put that out there. I don't think he beat Defi Desoy now, but he did beat him last year.
The only other one to keep an eye on is this Silius Emery. Had a long time injured, 2018, and is slowly coming back. and you could make a case for that one as well. Although I feel with Chacabusois, Aplutard, and Min in the race, perhaps it's a little bit too much for that one, and maybe a little bit too short for each way money anyway.
Possibly is. We'll move on to the Arkle novice chase now. It's a 7 runner over 2 miles, 1 furlong. Any thoughts on that, lads?
Yeah, I'm a big Notebook fan. Winning well over Christmas. Didn't run particularly well at Cheltenham last year in the Bullymore. I think he came 12th to City Island, and Champ was second in that race. I think this year he's come on leaps and bounds and is just a completely different horse. I think he's going places. I think Notebook's the one for me. I know he's the favourite, but I can't really see past him.
Yeah, he has maintained 100% record over fences so far. 3 wins so far, beating Moon over Germany and Fakir do theirs. So there isn't a lot of talk regarding his Cheltenham chances, which is quite surprising, but he is a great horse. Like
there is one other line here, and that's Cashback. And Cashback has actually taken the same route through Navan as Vitor, Min, Duvan, and Album Photo, and was fairly impressive at Nass as well. So you could make a case for that one to come on as well.
That's certainly interesting, Martin. And what do you think? Will Fakir Dudari go in this race, or will he be left alone until Sunday?
I think he'll go Sunday.
you think?
Yeah.
And Dean, any thoughts?
Well, I've actually took Fakir Dudaries in this race.
So have I.
I just like he's seriously impressive on his first start over the fences at Navan. Like I remember watching that race. I had a few friends at that meeting, and they were saying like, "Wow, he was foot perfect. Like the way he jumped and turned on, and he looked the winner a long way from home." And I actually thought on St. Stephen's Day he would have won. Only I just watched the race back earlier on the night actually, and coming up to second last, Mark Walsh actually loses his right iron and kind of halts a wee bit to fix it, and I think he lost a wee bit of ground going into the second last, which slowed him up, and Notebook was able to steal a length or two on him, and I think had things fallen his way, I think we might have seen a different finish to that race that night or that day.
I agree with that. He's 9-4 for this race too, so he's a very good price here.
I just think, with a wee bit of luck the last day, I think, and before he lost his iron, he actually got boxed in as well by the Wally Mullins runner, and Mark Walsh just couldn't get him out when he wanted to because he had to push him along to find a stride, and then once he got going, he was just boxed in and had to take a tug again, and then lost his irons. I just think possibly, had things fallen differently from that day, he could have been the winner of that race.
And what do you think about Mellon's chances? He's had a great career over hurdles and is going over fences, and so far he's came second and first.
Mellon's a difficult horse to assess. I think I'd say even Willie Mullins might say that himself. Like, he has the potential, but
He definitely does.
it's one of them ones. It's like it's what Mellon shows up to work.
That's true.
He is a classy horse. There's no doubt about it. But I think Fakir is probably the most exciting one in the race.
I'd agree with you there. I'm a Fakir Dudari as well. Moving on, what about the Irish Champion Hurdle? It has some great entries in it, and it's going to be an almighty race, I'd say.
I would say it's probably the race of the weekend, for sure.
Definitely is. Honeysuckle, 6-year-old, she's still unbeaten. 6 races. She's super exciting. She raced 5 times out of her 6 runs at Fairyhouse, which you might make a case to say she's a course specialist. But will she perform elsewhere? That's the big question.
Yeah, that would be a big question. But I've took Honeysuckle on this. I think she is standout.
You can make a case against a lot of the others, Ryan. You can say that Classical Dream has not performed particularly well this season, although there's been excuses for the last 2 run-ins. You can say Super Sunday, previous winner. You can say Petit Mouchoir, previous winner. Probably a little bit older, maybe a bit more experienced than Honeysuckle there, but Honeysuckle just looks just so powerful at the moment.
She really does. She's truly exciting. Like, Super Sunday is a 10-year-old. He's 20-1 here. That's quite big, isn't it, lads?
It's definitely big for a past winner, but I think, and you can kind of get the vibe off reading some of the interviews that Miss Harrington and even Kate has done, that I think they're more hopeful for Cheltenham than they are maybe the Dublin Racing Festival. I think he hasn't had a run now in a while, so I can see this blowing the cobwebs away and maybe setting himself up for a crack at the big one come March.
Dower Star here, he's been impressive. He's included in the Racing Records 5 to follow at the start of the season, where we described him as truly exciting. We expected Gavin Cromwell and Connections to be aiming for Cheltenham with Dower Star, and that seems to be the target now. He's an entry into the Champion Hurdle. He ran really well there last time. It was third behind Envoy Allen and Abracadabra. And Abracadabra is one of the favourites for the Supreme Novice, and Envoy Allen is 6-4 fave for the Ballymore, and finishing less than 3 lengths behind Envoy Allen, who won that race. So judging off that form, Dower Star is a great price here. 33-1 you can get him at. And I'd say he's my each way bet for the whole Dublin Racing Festival.
Yeah, Gavin Cromwell is definitely a man to stay on the right side of when it comes to the big festivals anyway. That's for sure.
So day one, lads, what's your bet of the day?
Well, I'm actually avoiding any of the grade ones for my bet of the day. I'm going to take a horse that I've been following for a few years. Landed a bit of a gamble last time out of Ferryhouse, having been 25-1 the night before, and going off and winning at tens was Charlie Stout. He's 8-1 at the minute for the handicap chase at 235. He won a grade A handicap at Ferryhouse, and this is a grade B handicap, so I think 8-1 might be pretty good value for him.
And Martin, what about you? What's your bet of the day?
My bet of the day is actually going to be a little bit of a shorty, I'm afraid. I like Eric Bloodaxe in the 420. I think he's got a very, very bright future for Joseph O'Brien and connections there. I think he'll come out and convincingly win here and then go on to Cheltenham in the bumper.
My bet of the day has to be Dower Star. I'm going to back him each way at 33-1. I think he won't be out of them placings. I really think he will outrun that 33-1 price.
Yeah, I mean the each way bet for me of the day, going back to the earlier race, will be Ordinary World. He's available at 66-1 at the moment, yeah, I've already backed that one myself.
And in the other races, I think Willie Mullins trained Tiger Tap Tap will be extremely hard beaten. He's running in the 345. It's the Labrador Hurdle. He's 8-1, and I think that's a cracking price for him. He won the Munster Hurdle at Clonmel in extremely impressive fashion. He won by 23 lengths. I know it was a small field, but he's clearly got bags of talent, this horse. Dean has some prices here now for you for maybe going to the Dublin Racing Festival. Some good value here, Dean.
€50. The value for the racing festival for the weekend ticket is unbelievable. There's 8 grade 1 races. There's some competitive handicaps, and if you're in and about Dublin or Leopardstown or even Kildare or close by, you should definitely make it your plan to go and visit there this weekend.
And as an extra added bit of entertainment, the Six Nations Rugby is live screening at 4:45, and there's live music from Aslan at 6:30.
Well, that wraps things up for the first part of our first ever Racing Records podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening, and we'll be back tomorrow for part 2, where we'll cover all of the action from day 2. And we'd love to hear some feedback from our listeners, as we're always looking to improve. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the Dublin Racing Festival, which is sure to be a cracker.